So we are Parker and Lucas, and this is Solid Talks, episode 1.
Hello,
Welcome,
guys.
everyone. Absolutely. So, Lucas, last night we had our first stream.
Yeah, it went great.
I think it went pretty solid for a first stream.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it a lot.
We streamed for 4 hours and 58 seconds.
4 hours and 58 seconds.
Yeah, you gotta add the 58.
Was there any minutes in there?
No, 4 hours and 58 seconds.
I feel like you may have miscounted that. Let's see. We started at, what did we start at? 8, and we played till 11:50.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know
So-
is it said
If it
4 hours,
4:58, it
4
may
hours
be
and 58
4.
seconds. That's what the stream time said on the video.
Really? Because I
Yeah.
feel like we played till almost midnight. Not midnight, but almost midnight. And then we worked our stuff till 1.
I don't know.
You sure you
I
didn't
don't
just
know.
read
Yeah.
it wrong?
No, I'm pretty sure I read that right.
I'm gonna go look back on it.
But anyway, it was a good stream. We are doing a Halo campaign legendary run, and we started off on Reach last night, and so we are going to be continuing that every Friday until who knows when, until we finally beat it.
Let's see, if we're doing half a game a night.
Well,
might
until we
take
reach
that.
Halo 2.
That,
'Cause we know
that
that's
might
gonna
not be
more
half a
than
game.
two. We know it's not going to be. That might be like 2 missions, 1 mission.
Yeah.
Depending on what. So yeah, it was productive. We'll be having our next stream on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
8 p.m.
p.m.
Central.
I should clarify that. 8 o'clock p.m. Central. Thank you.
Yeah.
We will be. I don't know what we're going to be doing. We might be doing some Halo Online, maybe some Smash Brothers. If we get Splatoon working, we might as also do that.
It'll
We have
be
some issues
fun.
with the internet.
Tuesdays are more of like, well, what are we in the mood for when we get to that day, and what equipment do we have? If we want to try out a game, if we want to, do something fun, just to keep us refreshed in gaming. Like, we're not just stuck to the same game for ever. We'll get burnt out that way.
Oh yeah.
So
But anyway, stay tuned. Follow us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at solidgroundgaming_official. And you can find us on Twitter at SG2_official. So stay tuned on there. We'll be posting our updates as to when we're going live. And updates on to when, especially this podcast, will be going up. So,
yep.
speaking of which, as part of a podcast, we talked about game news.
Exactly.
Lucas, I know you got some news.
Got some news. Well, there's a lot going on in the gaming world today. Within the last couple of weeks, they announced that Xbox Live was coming to Nintendo Switch and a mobile.
I love this. I love
Okay.
this for my own reason.
But, like, if you look at all the interviews with Xbox people, they're super vague about how this is going to work. Like, they don't talk about money. They don't talk about features. I mean, well, they kind of mention features. They don't talk about what it's going to feel like online, if it's just compatibility, or because they're talking about, like, it's one thing to say, oh, maybe they're just talking about compatibility, but then they're talking about adding Mixer and people being able to use Mixer anywhere, and then your clans and your friends, and I'm like, are you going to make me pay more for my Nintendo subscription?
You're just upset that it's Mixer, not Twitch.
I am actually more upset that it's Mixer and not Twitch. You know what? I'll take that, because I was like, can I have my Twitch on my Switch yet? Like, come on, man. I would love to be streaming. They actually put the button on the Switch for streaming. That button that captures pictures and 30-second clips was designed for streaming. And I have yet to get my Twitch. And now they're like, no, we're doing Mixer. And I'm like, I hate everything. I hate everything.
So what's your personal thoughts on this?
My personal thoughts. I don't want to see the price go up for the Nintendo Switch Online because I am poor. However, if they start to improve a lot of features and they give us that chat that we've been wanting and they give us the friends list that we want over the stuff that Nintendo has now, I wouldn't be upset, because like, that's something we run into where we can't just send a quick message like, hey, I see that you're online. Like, hey, you met somebody online, and they're like, man, dude, this guy's really, really good. I would like to play a game again with them. Like, hey, you want to go in Splatoon, you can do a double league. They're like, hey, you want to go do double league, and you can't send that message. You can hopefully invite them to a voice chat on the app, whether they request it or not is completely different. You can't actually send them like a, hey, join this map or join this match or whatever. You can't do any of that. So if they add some of that, that's cool. Mixer, nobody cares about. I'm sorry, Twitch is the bigger one, and
Mixer's there if you just kind of want to just stream and you don't really care about it. You just kind of want to show your gameplay.
Yeah,
and
I guess that's fair, but
like it's kind of those convenience. Like, I'm playing. It's all right gameplay. I might as well stream. Like I feel like that's kind of what Mixer's become. But would you pay a premium price if that's all? Like everything that you mentioned is what you got?
I don't know. Like, my thing is that the chat system should have been there, like, from the beginning, so I don't know if I'm willing to pay $60 for an Xbox Live, unless it's boosting my internet significantly. I'm already paying the $20, and I do deal with a lot of internet issues. And it's partially on my end, partially just Nintendo hates me. It's really funny. Really funny story. Every time I play Splatoon, somebody's lagging on the server. Doesn't matter who it is. Like, it could be one guy just glitching back and forth on everybody's screen. Nintendo's like, looking at it. Somebody's lagging on the game. It was Lucas. Kick him. And I'm the first one kicked in the game. And I'm like, come on. I'm not even doing anything, Nintendo. So I have a lot of issues like that. And if Xbox Live does come and we start using their servers and gameplay improves, I'd be okay with it. But if it's just compatibility and some Xbox features, I'm also okay with that. I don't know how the price is going to be, though.
What about if it was a one subscription for both Xbox and Switch? Because, see, this is something I'm thinking about. Because I love this idea. And from what I've heard and some of the speculation is there may be two plans, I guess you could consider them. And one of them, I believe, is still just the Nintendo. You just pay for the internet, you have the app and things like that. And then there's going to be the premium, which is going to be like all the Xbox features, in-game voice chat, messaging, cross messages between friends, all of that stuff. And I think it's a great idea. I would pay that premium because myself, I understand like a lot of the whole console wars things. I still think that some of the UI for Xbox is still better when it comes to like navigating through like voice chat and things like that. I enjoy that. I enjoy the live features of Xbox so much, and including like you get your they're not always the best games, but you also get like I think 4 free games a month with having the subscription. So for me, if I pay the $60 for Xbox Live and I'm also paying a $20 for the Nintendo Switch, and if this becomes a cross-platform kind of thing, if they could give me that on both platforms, I'm sold.
What they might do, and I just thought about this, is because they were talking about having your friends list and your clans from your Xbox account. They were talking about that. So if it's your exact Xbox account and you can sign in on your Switch and then you're just paying $60 for both your Xbox and your Switch, that's not a bad idea. However, I mean, I have the subscription for Nintendo right now. I love it because I get all my NES games, and Nintendo keeps adding more to the list. It allows me to go back and play some of these, like Metroid and Legend of Zelda, stuff I really enjoyed. So is that going to stick around? What does it look like? My thing is like, look, if you're going to announce something, announce all the plans. People were already annoyed with the Nintendo Online because, they were like, hey, we're going to have to charge. And then they waited 2 years to give us information about that. Mostly because they hadn't figured it out yet. And they were still working on patching everything and making sure everything worked and getting all of this. It was a lot. And people were just like, hey, we just want the information. And that was my thing about Xbox Live. Because I did look at the interview that somebody had with the head of Xbox, where he was just talking about, it's like, look, we're not, like, he even goes later on in that article to say, like, yeah, we're just, when we look at sales, we don't look at the console sales, we look at other sales. And I'm like, so it kind of almost sounded like he was moving away from the console itself, which is interesting. Although, if we get a Master Chief collection for the Switch, I will be buying that.
I want Chief for Super Smash Bros.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
We had this discussion before that I'm like, can we just have Chief for Super Smash Bros? And I saw a video about that, and it made my day. and we were talking about the implications of what would be required, and things like, say, like Joker's coming in, because I don't think Joker's ever been like a full, like, it's made some appearances to the Switch, just in, like, I think it was DLC or other things. But my thing is, if Xbox came to the Switch, I feel like that's enough validation to bring in Master Chief. I'd do the meme, here, take my money.
The thing is like, okay, so could Master Chief theoretically make it in Smash? I've done the research. I'm a huge Smash person. I follow the esports scene of Smash Ultimate. I know a little bit about Melee, not a huge deal about it, but could Chief as a character make it into Smash? The only reason I'd ever say yes to this is not because of Joker, it's because of Bayonetta and Solid Snake, because those are both M-rated games. My thing is more Snake, because he's all about killing people, all about hiding and taking out high priority targets and using guns and explosives, and he made it into Smash. So Master Chief would be in that genre, not that style of character. Mm-hmm. Solid Snake's a trap character, which Chief is just a run and gun. Let me tear everybody apart. So I don't know how they would even program him into the game, but
I can think of
they put a Piranha Plant into the game. They put a lot of other stuff in the game. I'm not doubting their abilities to make Chief. However, I don't think it's going to happen, and this is why I don't think it's going to happen. Is it possible? Yes. I don't think it's going to happen because of the development cycle of Smash. They've already picked their DLC characters before they announce this. It's not popular when they start the development of the game.
Yeah.
That's why Rex didn't make it into Smash Brothers from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I mean, that makes sense.
Like, Sakurai specifically stated, like, yeah, he didn't make it because we had already started development on Smash and picked our characters when this game was dropped.
But you do
not
know
when
that
it started
in the
development.
next one. You knew in the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Rex could be in there.
Rex could be in there.
But at least they did do something. They did put in the Rex outfit for the sword fighter.
Yeah, it was very disappointing when I saw that, because he was like, yeah, here's the Rex outfit, because we're not going to give you Rex. And so I don't even think they're going to give it to us for DLC. They were just like, no, don't worry. Don't wait for it.
It's still
it
a
won't
possibility.
Happen.
That's one of those things. The likelihood for Rex is still, like, I understand, Master Chief. I understand. It's probably not going to happen. It's very possible, but the likelihood is it's not going to happen, and I'm aware of that. I won't bite off more than I can chew for that.
Master Chief Collection for the Switch.
I love Smash. It's been fantastic. I'm just a fanboy of Halo, and that's all I would want. But then I feel like if at that point you also got to understand the rage that would come from the Smash community. You added Master Chief, but you won't add Waluigi.
They added a plant. It was already over. By the time they were like, Piranha Plant, everybody went, yeah, that's for Waluigi.
I feel like it was like cut open a wound, spread the wound, pour salt in the wound, stab the knife back in, and then if Master Chief came in, say, hey, we're adding Master Chief as a DLC, twist the knife.
No, like, I feel like that's more of like you added an anime character or Shrek, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, add Goku, add Shrek. No, let me tell. Okay, I would like to have a good game, not a crap game.
So, running off of that, and we're going to come back to this Xbox thing here in a second, but you adding Shrek, adding Goku.
Oh my gosh.
I want to talk about this, and this is totally on a different tangent. Mortal Kombat 11.
Mortal Kombat 11
is coming to the Switch. I think it's, if I remember right, I think I saw that it's been delayed by a little bit. It may. I think it might have been delayed.
I haven't checked.
But there's a petition going out. And you're laughing because you know what I'm talking about.
Of course I know what you're talking about.
Petition for Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Or not Ultra Instinct Shaggy, but the Shaggy. For Shaggy to be a DLC. And it's because of the Ultra Instinct video. And I saw that. And as soon as I saw this petition, I'm like, I know what they're doing. They saw the Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
So, okay. I actually did my homework into this meme. It came across my desk one time. Like, I was just, like, living life. And this article pops up. And it was all about Shaggy. The meme. So apparently it was popular about a year back, and then the meme died out, and all of a sudden it showed back up. Like, nobody knows why. Nobody knows why the internet was just like, no, here he goes, and it boomed in popularity to a point that it's higher than it was before. And
Someone's like Mortal Kombat 11.
well,
Shaggy.
well, okay. So here's where that comes from. Warner Brothers owns both Mortal Kombat 11 and Scooby Doo. So
Okay.
or
I'm
they
seeing-
work
I'm
they
seeing
work
the
with
connection.
both. They work with both or something like that. I know they own one and work with the other, and I think they own Shaggy and work with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So that's why people are like, well, it's not technically out of the realm of impossibility, and so they're petitioning the creators of Mortal Kombat 11. The creator of it, the head developer, actually made a statement about it. It's like, oh yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, you keep trying. See how far that petition gets you. Like, he's like, no, it won't work. Guys, it doesn't matter how many people petition. And so he's officially said, no, that's never going to happen.
I know.
I think it's hilarious that people are even doing this. And it shows how much, like, fun people just have with things.
So the important question:
Huh.
what would be Shaggy's fatality?
Shaggy's fatality. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that character, and I don't think the devs want to touch that character. I don't think Warner Brothers would give that character over. It would just be a disaster on all fronts.
I know, but the idea just entertained me so much from that.
Oh,
But
yeah, I get
anyway, we digress. Rabbit holes, they're wonderful. But anyway, back to Xbox.
Oh my god.
So this is another thing that's been kind of an interesting thing is Bungie. Bungie split from Activision.
Did they?
Bungie now has the ownership of Destiny. But I
Makes
believe
sense.
I saw something about a tweet from Phil Spencer's talking about I can't wait to work with one of my favorite companies on one of my favorite franchise games. Now, whatever those implications are, I enjoy Destiny. I enjoyed the first one. The second one was, it could have been better.
I played the
We'll see
second
if they
one, not
make
the
another
first
one.
one.
Let's see how well that goes. But the other thing is, I feel like if you're going to say it with one of my favorite games and like staples, God, please come back to Halo. I gotta say this, like 343 has done a better job since they've taken over the reins of it. Better, not the best. They're lacking in departments of. I feel like they're going into a more like better campaigns of things. They have a little bit better storyline, and if you listen to read into some of the lore of things, it's actually a pretty solid storyline. The way that they've engineered it. The other thing that I get upset with is kind of their online multiplayer. It's not that great. And I think just in some of those departments they could really fix. So I would love, if this is anything, I'd love to see Bungie come back to Halo, even if it's just to kind of code do some of the stuff, because even just their input would drastically change the Halo games.
So my thing about Halo as a series, after ODST, I think it kind of just fell off. Personally, I have a love-hate relationship with Reach. I'm not even sure how I feel about Reach. So when 343 took over, they didn't copy 1, 2, 3. They didn't even copy ODST. What they did was they looked at Reach and followed Reach's example. However, Reach was really successful. And Reach was successful for a few reasons. In my opinion, the multiplayer was more why Reach was successful over anything else. Mm-hmm. Halo was already a massive franchise, and they dropped this game. The campaign is lacking in Reach. Mm-hmm. There's nothing I can say that would be like, oh, it's not lacking. It's because it's like somebody could be like, oh, you just don't know the lore. And I was like, yeah, I understand the lore, but that doesn't make the campaign of this game better than 1, 2, 3.
There's nothing memorable about it. You can play through the campaign, but because even last night we were playing through, I think it's Long Night of Solace,
mm-hmm.
and you had said, I don't even remember this part. I don't even remember anything about this part.
I beat Halo Reach so long ago, and I was like, I'm never going to go back to play the campaign because I don't have a reason. It's not the hardest campaign. With the skulls on, yes, it becomes impossible, sure, but what's the point of an impossible game? Yeah. My thing was, it's great for its Forge World. Forge World, the map.
Forge World was fantastic.
Forge World was, in my opinion, its biggest redeeming quality for me. And I know a lot of people will disagree. My biggest turnoff for multiplayer was the DMR. And, I have a lot of issues with Reach. But when it comes to 4, 5, and well, I can't say I've played 5, but when it comes to 4, there was a lot lacking from the campaign of 4, and it stems from a few reasons that Halo 1, 2, and 3 had that 4 doesn't. Johnson is a huge factor.
Yeah, we've talked about
And
this.
we've talked about this. We've discussed this, where it's like, you don't have this Johnson character. Johnson is so amazing if you watch through any of the other Halos. He's always there. He's always cracking jokes. He's always bringing the firepower. He's always being serious, and he's always being completely awesome. Like, he's just going to walk in there and it's like, nah, man, time for me to wipe the field with a giant tank that I just brought to you. Have fun. And you're just like, cool, Johnson,
If
thanks.
God is love, you can call me Cupid.
And so, like, you have this great character that's making jokes in all of this series, and the series takes itself seriously.
Yeah.
But you have Johnson who's making jokes, but he's also being very serious. 343 doesn't have this character. They don't even try to attempt to make this character. They never even came near it. So the series changed from being a very, and you can see the color scheme too. If you look at Reach, you look at 1, 2, and 3, it's a bright color scheme. There's a lot going on, sure, but it's very bright. It's very easy to see things. They use a lighter effect, but you see 4. 4 uses a very darker tone. Well, with the exception of 2. I will have to say 2 took a darker tone when you hit all the Covenant stuff. But it still has its redeeming qualities in a lot of areas. 343 hasn't mastered Halo. And they've taken all this lore, but if you don't understand the lore of Halo, you can't really enjoy Halo's games anymore. And that was my thing. It's like, I played 1, 2, 3. I played 1, 2, and 3 before I even knew anything about the extra lore of Halo. Yeah. And it made sense. The biggest thing that didn't make sense was how Johnson got off the Halo. And that's not explained from Halo 1.
But I feel like that's kind of like one of those like
You
things you just. And I think one of the things is this is kind of to like pull things from different games. Like I said, 343 has done well, and like I say, like they've done well with the lore in 5 because like they've really gone into like the background stories and everything like that, and it's really good when you look at it like that. But like you said, where they do kind of lack is still in that campaign because there is such a gap between 4 and 5, and it doesn't feel like it's the continuous story. It feels like, kind of like it's like an offshoot. And how, regardless of how like, because like I said, I'm a Halo fan. I've read into the lore. It doesn't feel like it's the same kind of continuation that 1 to 2 to 3 had. Where the main focus of the story had always been with inside that game, and if you're not aware of what's happening outside, like what's considered the Logic Plague, which took place in Halo 2, which was the Gravemind corrupting Cortana, those kind of like key details in some of the past lore are like crucial in Halo 5 to know. But the fact is, you have to know those in order to understand that the game's actually in its completeness. Without those, it's just an offshoot, which is, I feel like, somewhere where 343 did miss the mark. But things like, say, for the Halo Reach, again, I feel like it wasn't Bungie's strongest campaign. It was a fun campaign. I feel like it was pretty solid there. I only remember a few pieces of it. But the thing where they really hit Reach on the head, which I feel like was very good because everything's gone into such an online gameplay. Not a lot of people are. Well, I shouldn't say that. But like for me, as I play some of the campaign, and then once I play the campaign, I don't see a lot of replayability in the campaign. So there was a lot more focus on the online play, which I feel like Bungie hit it right on the head with a lot of the online play. I know you have some of your discrepancies with the balancing of it. But
DMR specifically
the DMR. I played SWAT all the time, so I never really had any complaints about it.
My thing is, it's like, why make a weapon that can one-shot everybody in the head if you have the sniper that has to one-shot everybody in the head, and then you have the battle rifle that can't one-shot everybody? And it's like, look, you made it too powerful.
Yeah,
like, you could bring it back.
But
if you
the multiplayer I felt shine was with the armor customization because everyone wants that armor customization back.
I will say that was amazing.
It was beautiful, and from what I hear, that style is coming back in the new one. Okay. So 343, please don't mess this up.
How about
I want
Forge? I want real Forge back. How about that?
Yeah, real Forge would be nice.
Forge World. I don't understand how you mess this up. So everybody's playing Forge World, yeah? So we should make a map like that, right? So that people can just edit and do whatever they want? No. That makes too much sense. We're just going to take all of those options away
And put it on
strip
an island.
everybody down. We're going to add magnets, which should improve everything, but then we're going to screw everything up anyways. And I'm like, that's my experience with 4. I don't know anything about 5, even if it has a forge at all. I've never seen its forge.
You know, come to think of it, I haven't really touched Forge. I'm ashamed of myself. I mean, after this podcast, I'm probably going to go do that. But
That's my thing. It's like I've never even seen Halo 5 forge. In Halo 4, we were throwing like kill balls at each other. It was so great with our kill ball cannon.
the expanded maps of Halo Reach, because it got to the point people got so good. Microsoft, or Bungie, I guess you could say in this case, Bungie took I think it was fan-made maps, people who had edited the maps and actually used them for, if you want to say, for lack of a better term, official maps. Like you would play SWAT, or no, like even Infection. Like there was a map called Caged, and then somebody kind of like broke it all up and they called it Uncaged. And it was a very dark setting, like, and it was those kind of things where I'm like, that is actually very cool.
Well, you got to remember, like, the mode Griffball. Everybody loves Griffball.
yeah.
Well, that started Halo 3 ODSTs. Halo Mystic, I think is what they called their multiplayer disc. That was designed there. Over a skull, and people would just grab gravity hammers. It was a lot of fun. I remember when it started, and then Bungie went, "You guys are really good. We're adding this into the game. Congratulations, guys!"
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I just, that's not there anymore. The ability to customize your Halo game and to be like, well, I built something so good that it's not there.
Yeah, customizability totally took a dive. And I feel like, so, like, it's kind of like a counter deal, because, like, now in Halo 5, there's, like, 750, like, armor pieces. That is way too much.
That's fair.
And, like, there's different, like, schemes of it. And I look at some of the, like, armors that they, like, some of the armors that they have, and, like, they've brought in some from Halo Reach, which is, like, good. Some actual classic Halo. But, like, there's a lot of things. There's one that, like, it looks like an elephant. It looks like an elephant's face. And I'm just like, why? Like, it's people basically scrounging to get, customizability. And, while, yes, it's awesome, it's just kind of like it's overkill in the wrong places. But the other thing I will say, like, with Reach, and I don't like with 5, Reach, it's design in matchmaking that everyone's name was listed at the right, and you could go to each player, view what their armor looked like, view their stats. I believe you could view all their stats, like their KD. And
I want to say you could at least overview their page from there.
Yeah, or at least from there. Yeah, you could see that. You could see who had their mics on, who
you could definitely see that.
Like, it was such easy accessibility. And now, because I had a chance to play the beta for Halo 5. And the beta was great. I enjoyed the beta. And it was, from what I remember, it was well set up. It was, you could click on a person's profile, or you could at least see who was talking. You could look at their armor. You could look at their stats. And it was really cool. But now in Halo 5, you just get their little banner at the bottom. And you can't see who's on your team. You can't see who has their mics. You can't look at anybody's stats. You can't, be like, hey, this person's got some good stats. You can't go in mid-game or, after the game. Because at that point, after the game, you've already booted, and most people are out of the lobby anyway. And the only way you can see everybody's stats is you have to go into your past record, go in there. So you gotta back out of matchmaking if you want to have the time, because otherwise there's going to be a game that starts again. So you gotta back out, look at everyone's stats, look at stuff like, oh, this was a good player. But at that point, what's the purpose? You've already backed out. You might have backed out of them already. And so it is such a sloppy design for Halo 5. Yeah. And we had talked about this, also the emblem creation. Now it's just banners, and again, sloppy. But, like, again, where you could create your own logo and design it that way.
Yeah.
The amount of logos that I saw was phenomenal in Reach. and now it's just banners. So pretty much anybody can have the same banner and same color scheme, and there's no personality to a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
The only other thing is also this, and this is a very like minute thing, but the leveling system, because I know like there's ranked matches, but there was also things like, you know how you go from, you know, private, corporal, warrant officer, lieutenant brigadier, brigadier general, or, you know, lieutenant colonel, and you'd work up those ranks, and then you'd get to things like Nova, Eclipse, and you got to that point and you're like, I felt like that was such a good validation of how, like, not necessarily how good they were, but like how much time it actually took to get there and how much they had actually played. Because I feel like at this point, because it's like, oh, you reached 150, level 150, I feel like it's such like an arbitrary like leveling system. Like there's just, it's almost like the difference between getting a medal and getting a piece of paper saying congrats.
Yeah, I can do that.
So like you may have gotten first place, but there's something about the medal that makes you like, this is an achievement versus a piece of paper that says, hey, you got first place.
And that, yeah, I mean, in 343 credit, they've done decent for a company that wasn't in charge of. We all knew that 343 was helping, so they were working on something in the background. Bungie really took charge of all of the Halo project. They were probably the creative design team, and they were probably the storyline, the campaign, and how everything like looked and felt and worked and lore and all of that stuff. And 343 is probably more mechanics. I can't actually say who did what, but this is what it kind of looks like. And when 343 took over, they were like, well, we know how to make the shooter game. Let's see if we can put everything back together. And in their credit, they haven't destroyed the series, which is a lot said. You'd be surprised how often another company takes over and it just dies. Like, they don't even make the game close to what the other games were. And so in 343's credit, they've actually done decent enough to make it feel like it's still a Halo game. I'm not going to go into Halo 5 and be like, this doesn't feel like Halo. It's like, well, it's still Halo.
Yeah.
I mean, that in their credit, you have to give them something, because they weren't the ones who came up with this design. It's not their child. And that's what it comes down to, is it your child? Is it somebody else's that you've now been giving work on? And I think that's what, like, that's where it's like in other games like Call of Duty's developed by so many different people, but when you know Treyarch and Activision are working on it, you know it's going to be like a Black Ops or that style of game, and you're like, oh, I know exactly how that game's going to turn out. And then other developers do other things, and you know, you can kind of like get the feel from each developer.
Yeah.
And so 343 has a different style than Bungie does.
Yeah.
And it's when they're working together and Bungie's in charge, you get Halo 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Reach was more of like swapping hands, because I know by that point things had already started getting rocky.
It might have been, because that was their last game, so there might have already been started to be a shift in hands at that point.
I know, because I know by that point there was already things were already getting rocky. They had a Halo movie coming out, and that fell through because one person owned half the rights, the other person owned the other half the right, and it was a mess.
Actually, I even think that some of this was
District
being
7, I think, came from.
Some of this, I think, was already in the works during ODST. Because I remember, I think I saw something about, if you play through ODST, there's actually a banner that has the Destiny logo. And I thought that was interesting. Personally haven't seen it, but
I know that Bungie had been wanting to work on another project for a while, and that's where kind of they left 3, where they were like, look, we're gonna take a break. Let us work on another thing. And I think Microsoft went, no, we want another Halo.
Well, you kind of have to with that kind of ending for Halo 3.
Well, yeah, but it kind of just like the break period between 3 and 4.
Yeah,
that's a great break period. You can have an entirely built another game during this time, right? But if Microsoft's pressuring you to have another game out for this series, you get ODST. Okay, here's a supplement game. Yeah, but we want another game.
You get Reach.
Halo Wars, Halo Reach. Halo Wars is great. I personally love it. And a lot of people were just like, and I'm like, come on, guys, it's a good game. It's a great strategy game. But that's my thing.
Yeah.
But either way, I think we've talked a lot about Halo, and we have like just a little bit more time. I wanted to bring up Luigi's Mansion 3. Looks like it's being developed by the same people who did 2, so it won't look like 1. It will look like 2 for those of you who are interested in that. It's supposed to be coming out next month or this month. I don't actually know. I know it's
sure.
I know that it's coming out pretty soon, or it might be later this year. I don't know. No, it was the Yoshi game that's coming out soon. I keep forgetting what's coming out when. I know Pokemon's supposed to come out in the middle of the year.
Yes.
I think that's what it's
The
released.
middle of the year.
It may be closer to the end. I don't remember. Something's coming out middle, something's coming out at the end. That's how Nintendo does it. But then there's Fire Emblem that's coming out this year. Metroid Prime 4 got pushed back for all of you who do not know about that.
Yeah,
Go watch Nintendo's video on the
We
status
will be
of
talking
development.
about that because that was kind of something we were going to talk about today. But Lucas here is running out of
just as a
time.
brief thing, I can just put on this. So what they did was Retro Studio created 1 and 2. I think they did 3, but I'm not sure about Other M. I know that they didn't work on
Don't ask
one
me.
of the games.
I've not played a single Metroid.
I
game.
think they didn't work on one of the games. As much as I know my Metroid series, I don't know them, but they are the guys in charge of Metroid Prime 1 and 2 for sure. They weren't working on Metroid Prime 4. And this was announced back before the Switch came out. It was the teaser trailer at E3, I think the same time the Switch was dropping, and it was all this crazy stuff. So we were expecting it last year, this year. And like, cool, we're going to get information, we're going to get a trailer, we're going to get a game. And Nintendo gave us something. They gave us a head developer looking at everyone saying, sorry guys, we suck at making video games. So we brought Retro Studios back and restarting the entire project. So all the Metroid fans went, I don't know how I feel, but I'm a little upset and I'm a little glad. This should have been how it was from the beginning. Why? Why even wait? Why get to this point in
But
that
I feel
was
like I understand. Like if it was me for like Halo, like I would be upset if they're like, hey, Halo 6 isn't coming out for like another like 2
4
years. And like I'd be like,
it's a mixed blessing.
But if I heard that again that Bungie was coming back to head up the project, I would be okay, this will be worth it. And I feel like that's kind of how I would view this. if it
Yeah,
was
and
me.
that's the thing is like for me it's like at least we know it's going to be a good game. If you release a bad game, it's bad forever. But if you delay it, restart it and get a good game out there, it's going to be good forever. But it should have been Retro Studios from the beginning.
Yeah.
It should not have been a Nintendo company. And Nintendo looked like they were upset because I've never had like the head developer. I don't think like say, yeah guys, we're having to restart the project. Like I felt like that was like he upset somebody so much like no you I've been on your case, you are making a video, you are going to receive the hate, I am tired. Like because that's what it just felt like to me when I watched that video, and I was like, okay, thanks. A 3-minute video just crushing half my hopes and dreams. I didn't need them anyways.
I love how the better part of that beginning of that video was him just kind of buttering you up. Like, we know that you've been excited for this game. We've been working hard, and it's like, but, and you're like, no, but.
When
Don't
I
give me
saw
that.
this video, I was like, it's either dropping a demo, dropping a release date, or dropping that they're restarting the project, and they restarted the project. And I was like, oh no.
The worst of the 3 options. You're just like, why did it have to be that way?
I don't know when the next Nintendo Direct is, but it should be coming up soon. For your Splatoon fans out there, Nintendo released a demo in Japan, or is releasing a demo in Japan, just to get more interest in Japan. They're also announced that they were doing the Schellendorf picks. They're bringing those back from Splatoon 1, which is remixes of a lot of other weapons, like the NZAP 83, which didn't come out in America, came out in Japan. But it's coming to Splatoon. Grim Range Blaster, the Soda Splatling, I think, and some other stuff like that. These are weapons from Splatoon 1 that they're bringing back. They said they weren't doing any more weapons, but this has kind of been like they announced it, and there's no release date, there's no real information. I just found it on a few different article sites, like such as Nintendo Life, I think was the first to announce that they were doing that. I haven't seen it anywhere. I haven't seen an official Nintendo thing, but Nintendo Life has been pretty accurate. I've never had them That's where I go for all my patch notes before Nintendo decides to link it in Google, because they don't always link things in Google for whatever reason. Like, I'm like, Google this patch, and Nintendo's like, you don't need that patch. Here's the other patch. And I'm like, fine, Nintendo life, whatever.
Yeah.
It has my patch. Either
So,
way, that's coming out.
because you mentioned the Nintendo Direct, and I saw a video this morning. I hadn't got to watch it yet, but apparently there was a leak or something about a February Nintendo Direct, and it said that it's going to be a big one. So
It's
I don't
supposed
know
to be.
when.
Well, okay, like my thing is, it should be a big one. Simply because you have 4 games coming out this year. One of them has a release date and it's going to come out. 3 of them don't have release dates. 3 of them don't have information. 3 of them don't exist in the eyes of the world yet. You have, not Metroid. Pokemon. It's not announced. We know that a game is coming, and it's a mainstream game for the Switch. Yes, that's what we know. We don't know how much they're changing. There's a bunch of leaks out there. If you guys are interested, they talk about like, oh, it's a completely new game, or it's the exact same thing. And so, yeah, we'll just wait for Nintendo on that one before I start getting.
Do you think
into
that's
that.
going to be a February announcement, or do you think that's going to be an E3 announcement?
It won't be E3. They're gonna say something about Pokemon at this Direct. There's no way that they won't. There's a few Directs throughout the year. There's a spring one for sure, a summer one, a fall one, and I don't think there may or may not be a winter one.
So you think they might just use E3 as a stage to kind of develop that, like, get more information?
I don't know what they're going to be doing for E3. I wouldn't be able to sit there and be like, oh, this is what they're doing for E3. Last year it was Smash. We all knew going into that, all the Smash people were like, yeah, no, this E3 is Smash. And everyone went, well, we're going to see some other stuff. And no, we didn't. We saw Smash, and it was great, and I loved it. But I don't know what they're doing for E3. I know they might talk about a lot about Pokemon, but they're definitely going to announce something at this Direct, whatever the Direct is. But other than that, I'm trying to run through all the Nintendo information. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think that's all from Nintendo that I know of. I mean, besides esports, MKLeo beat Void in grand finals, for those of you who don't know, in Smash Brothers Ultimate at Genesis 6 last Sunday. That was a great match. MKLeo ran through with Ike. Void ran through with Pichu. It was a lot of fun. But other than that, I don't think I have anything else to add.
Awesome. Well, this has been the first episode of the podcast. This should be going up. So what's today? Today's Saturday. It should be going up tomorrow. So by the time you're hearing this, it should be Sunday for you. But yeah. So stay tuned for next Sunday, which we intensively plan to talk about the validity of GameStop, the future of streaming and video games, and as we are going to hopefully talk about Pokemon, and maybe we might have a Direct by then. Maybe. Fingers crossed.
We'll time schedule a little bit better so we don't just talk about Halo the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
There's a lot to talk about with the Halo stuff, because there's
a lot to talk about with that. That's like opening Pandora's box. It's just a disaster everywhere, and it's a great series gone slowly down in a sinking ship.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm Lucas. Check out our streams at 8 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays and Fridays. I stream separately on 1 to 3 during Tuesday and Thursday. It'll be a lot of fun. I just play whatever I'm in the mood for. But this channel is primarily focused on, for Fridays, we'll be doing Halo, and Tuesdays we'll be doing a mix of anything, pretty much. Yeah. Shooter games, I think, is where we're normally sticking, but we'll branch out and do co-op games, or if we want to grab
games
a group.
We've never played.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Well,
awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.